Here to live now from Fox. We do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you of a church attack that happened out in Wayne, Michigan earlier today. We are getting some new aerials. This is live aerials courtesy of Fox 2 Detroit that is up in the air right now. So this happening in Wayne, Michigan, where an active shooter situation. The suspect drove a truck into Cross Point Community Church out in Wayne, Michigan, starting to open fire. We don't know if he was able to ring off some shots, but we are learning that the suspect was shot and killed by a security guard that was at the church as well there. So this could have been a situation that could have turned out very, very badly, but by the quick actions of the security guard, able to neutralize the suspect before that individual got into the church. Truly remarkable right now. We are also learning from the FBI. Look at what Dan Bongino said. Our leadership and support teams are on the ground at the scene in Wayne, Michigan, providing assistance and support. So they are right now going to be on the scene, just seeing if there is any connection to maybe any radical ideology that could be presented from what is going on in the Middle East. So that investigation will take some time there. But again, we do want to show you this breaking news scene out in Wayne, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And you're taking a live look here of the investigation that is continuing. There were several people hurt. We don't know the condition of those people, but again, the shooter was neutralized by the security guard that was on the scene there. It was quick action as the service was just about to get going. There is on social media already some live stream footage of when parishioners were being escorted and running for their lives as the suspected active shooter was killed at the church by an armed security guard. Again, this happening at Cross Point Community Church out in Wayne, Michigan there. So we will be tracking this here for you on Live Now from Fox. The FBI is on it. Dan Bongino says our leadership and support teams are on the ground as well. And they are tracking this story right now as it will be continued to update. If we get any news conferences from on the ground, we will bring that to you on Live Now from Fox as well. So let's take our final break here of the hour. We will be getting back to some more anti-war protests that are happening out in Boston. We'll be back with more on Live Now.
Man, this is beyond sad. This world that we're living in right now, man. Wayne, Michigan. A truck crashes into a church. Shots fired. Obviously, chaos erupts. I'm going to show you that in a second. But before this story could become a tragedy, somebody stepped in. Thank God. This wasn't just another headline. It was a church with somebody in there ready. But this is where it sadly flips.
Hearing pop, 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 pop. And I just booked it to the bathroom, and I hid with another parishioner.
I knew it was something bad. I've never heard her sound like that before.
Was the scariest thing I've ever been involved in. I was hiding in one of the bathrooms. I stood on the toilet and shut the door. Nobody else was in there but me and Tish, and we were just praying, and we didn't know what was going on, but we knew it was bad. And hearing all the gunshots and just praying that everybody was safe. We were just scared. We were very scared.
My son brought me the phone, and it was my mom in a very frantic voice telling me that there was an active shooter at her church behind us, and that she was hiding in the woods with my aunt. All I heard from my mom was that my aunt was there when bullets were flying, and that she had blood on her from the security guard. My aunt is about 80 years old, and she said that she was okay, but she was going to be there for a lot longer being questioned.
So, a mother is hiding in the woods. I'm sorry, a mother hiding in the woods. Let me make sure I said that correctly. a frantic phone call that followed, an 80-year-old woman covered in blood, and people praying in the locked bathroom doors, man. The terror was definitely real. This is what real fear looks like, not a movie, not some sort of drill. You know, we keep telling ourselves stuff like it won't happen here until it does. How many more sanctuaries have to become battlegrounds before we prepare like it's real? Thank God he was. But outside the church, somebody wasn't running. Thankfully, they was ready to act.
Officers arrived and determined that the suspect arrived at the church and began to drive recklessly, drawing the attention of church staff members. The suspect exited his vehicle wearing a tactical vest, armed with a long gun and a handgun. He approached the church building and began firing his weapon. Several staff members from the church approached the gunman. A parishioner struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. At least 2 staff members shot the gunman, causing fatal wounds. 1 staff member was shot once in the leg by the suspect. The church staff members do not wish to be identified at this point. The Wayne Police Department is still investigating this incident with the assistance of multiple local, state, and federal partners. We are grateful for the heroic actions of the church's staff members, who undoubtedly saved many lives and prevented a large-scale mass shooting. I would add that the church parishioners and staff members were trained in responding to emergency situations, which also saved lives. The gunman is a 31-year-old white male from Romulus. His motivations are unknown, but at this point it appears he was suffering from a mental health crisis.
A mental health crisis. So according to the police, the shooter had a rifle, a handgun, a tactical vest. But he never made it inside. The church staff was trained, and one of them, I believe, was even shot, and still he didn't back down. I mean, you got to be real. Law enforcement can't be everywhere every second the danger hits. You know, this isn't about disrespecting the police, but, you know, salute to them being the first line of defense. If you got the courage to protect your people, you better be prepared to do it. The only thing that stood between a mass shooting and a miracle was training, boldness, and faith. And how the whole thing ended, you won't believe.
Oh. Come on, everybody to the back. Please, everybody come to the back. Come to the back. Don, they gotta come. They gotta come. Come on.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Go. Out, I don't think is a good idea. Come on here.
So what you don't see is one deacon sees the shooter and hits the gas, literally slams him with a Ford F-150 while the shooter's dazed. The security guard steps in and ends it just like that. That wasn't luck, man. That was action. So let me show you where all of this information is coming from. A deacon from Nick Sorter posted this. A deacon at the Wayne Church ran over the assailant over with his car, and the security guard came in for the kill shot. So if you see the post, it says, Senior Pastor Bobby Kelly Jr. said a deacon ran the shooter over, giving the security guard time to shoot the armed attack outside the church, located at 36125 Glenwood Road in the city of Wayne. He was run over by one of our members who saw this happening when he was coming into church. Yeah, man. Again, that wasn't luck. That was action. He didn't wait for no type of permission. He didn't ask what the news might say. He just did what needed to be done. You got to commend him for that. You know who runs over an active shooter? Somebody who's fed up watching evil win. The media won't celebrate this, but I mean, we should. Lives were saved. But, you know, instead of praising heroes, we digging into the past real quick, which is okay. A Facebook post from 2016 resurfaces. And he's now being labeled a MAGA terrorist. No verified motive yet. No evidence of this just yet. But we do have this old sarcasm post from Facebook. It says, the first female I see today I'm not related to gets a free grab by the JKJK. But it's all good, apparently, he adds. It's also saying under here, if they get mad at me, I would just build a wall and throw the B word. Now, somebody did reply under this and say that's an anti-Trump post too, wrong page. Anywho, but the real motive, if he did have one, if I had to calculate from what I'm gathering online, it probably wasn't political at all. Here's Brian Browning, the attacker who was shut down immediately by the good guy with the gun. He blamed the church for the death of his friend and believed God gave him a son. So you now know his name. Well, we knew his name in the beginning, but he posted Bible verses and said God gave him a son. Blamed the church for his friend's death, and he looking for vengeance. Let's take a look at this. It says he posted two scriptures, Ephesians 5:11, which reads, "Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them." Then Luke 12:3 says, God forgive me. What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in the ear in the inner rooms will be proclaimed from the roofs. You have not only lied to men, but you have lied unto the Spirit of the Lord, but his blood is on your hands. And then under there it says Cross Point Community Church. This says, sometimes God will very, very subtly show you the signs. Trauma, grief, delusion, huh? Now, we can't ignore mental instability, and we can't keep ignoring it until bullets start flying. You're just waiting for disaster. And you can't fight a spiritual war with tweets, man. You need faith, structure, accountability. I'm not even over here trying to sympathize with the guy. But just when you think this is only happening here, it happens the same day overseas. In Damascus, Syria, 25 people were killed in a suicide bombing inside a church. 80 injured. It happened during Mass. Christians targeted on the same day. I can't sit here and say it was all coordinated, but I have to say, what a coincidence. The only difference between Wayne and Damascus is in one, somebody was armed and ready. Now, we're not under attack just physically. It's definitely spiritually. The question is, are we prepared to fight back? And now, the FBI, hopefully, is continuing to dig deeper. Reports are saying that, I'm reading now, Browning posted content about Iran's supreme leader. So that starts the connections. We know investigations are ongoing. But one thing is clear. He came to destroy. That was his only mission that day. That's very clear. And thank God the church refused to let that happen. Whether it's mental illness, spiritual deception, or radical influence. Evil is looking for vessels. If you think this can't happen in your church, your school, your home, you are sadly mistaken. We don't wait on the world to protect us. We protect our own. We defend what we love. That's what a real community does. He showed up to take lives, but found out what happens when faith is armed and ready. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.